Well, Mrs. Justice Chima Grubb there, handing down a sentence of 30 years, 239 days before David Carrick can be considered for parole.
Buckle up. Here are some corrupt cops who got exposed for their crimes, facing a lifetime behind bars. Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin gained national notoriety as a Minneapolis police officer involved in George Floyd's tragic death. Kneeling on Floyd's neck for over 9 minutes during an arrest, Chauvin faced widespread protests against police misconduct and racism after the incident was captured on video. Growing up in the Twin Cities, Chauvin pursued law enforcement studies after playing high school football. Joining the Minneapolis Police Department in 2001, he later became a trainer for new officers, accumulating 18 complaints during his career, with only 2 resulting in punishment. Chauvin was also involved in cases of force, including a fatal shooting in 2017. On May 25, 2020, responding to a call about counterfeit money, Chauvin and 3 officers encountered George Floyd. Restrained on the ground, Floyd repeatedly said he couldn't breathe as Chauvin knelt on his neck. Floyd became unresponsive and died later. Chauvin was found guilty on all 3 charges and sentenced to 22.5 years in prison, facing additional federal charges. Wayne Couzens. In a shocking incident that still haunts the United Kingdom, 48-year-old police officer Wayne Couzens committed a cruel and terrible act that people can't stop talking about. On the evening of March 3, 2021, he abducted, harmed, and killed 33-year-old Sarah Everard, who was returning home from a friend's house near Clapham Common in South London. Even though Couzens wasn't on duty that day, he stopped next to Everard, claiming to be a police officer. He handcuffed her and forced her into his car, driving her to a pond near Dover. There, he inflicted harm on her and took her life. Shockingly, he went as far as burning her body and disposing of her bones. As the police investigated, they confronted Couzens and informed him of his arrest. Believing he had information about Everard's whereabouts, they asked for details. Initially, Couzens pretended ignorance, but later he made a disturbing claim. He said a group had coerced him into committing these heinous acts against girls, asserting that he had no choice due to threats against his family. Joseph Miedzianowski, once a celebrated police officer in Chicago, gained notoriety as the city's most corrupt law enforcer. Behind his facade of bravery and commendable arrests lay a darker truth. He exploited his position for personal gain, engaging in a 22-year cocaine distribution operation by forming alliances with gang members. Despite his numerous commendations for bravery and successful arrests, Miedzianowski was secretly involved in drug trafficking. He used his knowledge of gang networks and street informants to manipulate drug dealers, facilitating illicit drug sales. His web of lies came loose in 2001, leading to his arrest and trial. Derek Stafford, a 33-year-old former deputy marshal, was involved in a tragic incident on November 3, 2015. While attempting to stop a car, he fatally shot 6-year-old Jeremy Martis, who was in the car with his father, Chris Few. The officers had chased Chris for about 2 miles, and Stafford fired 14 shots at the car, even though Chris had his hands raised. During the court proceedings, Stafford apologized to Jeremy's father, stating that he wouldn't have shot at the car if he knew there was a child inside. Despite his explanation, the court found Stafford guilty of causing Jeremy's death and attempting to harm Chris. David Carrick, originally from Wiltshire, England, began his career as a police officer in 2001 after a brief stint in the British Army. Despite his role in a special team guarding important individuals and places, Carrick harbored a dark side. In 2002, reports surfaced of him engaging in abusive behavior at home, but he retained his position as a police officer until 2017, earning the unflattering nickname Bastard Dave for his cruelty. From 2003 to 2020, Carrick exploited dating apps to meet women using his authority and weapon to inflict physical and sexual harm. That's the end of today's video. Hit that like button for more engaging content. Thanks for watching.